Hey, welcome to Training at 45. I'm Mike. Going to hit another workout today, but I thought I'd have a tidy up of all my gym equipment this morning. I've laid it all out and I thought might make a nice video for those who train at home to have a look at my home gym setup, the equipment that I've got and built up perhaps over the years, why I've got it and all of that. So without further ado, let's do a little quick tour. So here's the Training at 45 gym. I pretty much train outside now exclusively, so I had to convert the garage into another room. So as you can see, I've got quite a lot of equipment. So we'll break that down bit by bit. I'll start with perhaps the most important piece, the power rack. I picked this up off eBay many years ago. And it was a bit of a gamble, but it was pretty good. It was just missing a couple of bolts, which I've repaired now, put together. So I suppose a few adaptations. I've made these covers so I can then do leg presses on the power rack without scratching the bar or scratching the rack itself. And it's got plenty of space to do pull-ups, and it's fairly heavy, but I can move it around, so that's useful as well if I want to get it out of the way to have more floor space. So we've got a good selection of bars, a nice solid 20 kilo Olympic lifting bars, 7 foot. We've got probably my most favourite bar, which is this one. This is actually just a galvanised pipe, probably weighs about 10 kilos. I've made just inner collars just out of some, I think they're called Jubilee clips. And that's all been measured up and marked up, so the marks will correspond to the Olympic bar. And I use that for a variety of exercises. I much prefer thick bar training. I find it's better on my wrists, and I feel I've had more development and gains from doing it. It's a more comfortable bar to use. So moving on then, we've just got an old, what they call it, I suppose an exercise bar that just uses the 1-inch hole plates. Don't tend to use that much now, but I do like it. It's got a nice knurling on it and a good slightly thicker grip than the Olympic bar, so it will get used occasionally. And then I've just got a really old exercise bar. This is really flimsy and lightweight, so I'll pretty much just use that for warming up and rotations and things. So I also have a trap bar. I do really value this piece of kit. It's very heavy but very versatile at the same time. It accepts Olympic plates and can be rotated, so the other side can be used for different handle heights. Got some good adjustable dumbbells. These can be loaded up really heavy, up to easily 45 kilos or more. I own roughly around not 100 kilos of the exercise size plates, the 1-inch holes. So I've got a lot of scope to do things with those. And again, they've got quite a good knurling on them. They're just from Decathlon originally, and I think they still sell these now. They're really good quality and they'll last. So we've got an easy curl bar. I'm sure most people who attended gyms are familiar with these. This is only quite a cheap one really. It's starting to rust, but it does the job. And it's not got too steeper angle on it either on the curves, so that's pretty good. A smaller version of the 2-inch bar. It's quite useful for exercises where your space is limited, just like bent over rows, things like that. And I've weighed that out at 5 kilos. Again, the same sort of thing going on with the inner collars. You can get proper clamps to make better collars for these, but it works, it's fine. So I've got my thick bar dumbbell handle. A lot of my videos have featured this at a period of time when I was trying to concentrate on heavy shoulder work overhead. This is fantastic and can be loaded up really heavy with Olympic plates up to some serious weights. I've got this old, I think it's supposed to be like a tricep bar that's just lying around. I've never used this for anything really. I might perhaps try and figure out an exercise that works really well with it, but it's just there and I've got it. It's the second most important piece of equipment in the home gym. Won't go too deep into this because I've already done a review on the channel. It does the job and it's got a few different height settings. So on the floor then we have our pulley system. Again, I've got another good review of this on the channel. This is really serving me well now and I'm getting a lot of good use out of this. It's got some quite good attachments with it that I've laid out there. I've sort of added to it in little bits and pieces. I've got some more little carabiner things, and I've made another handle out of an old set of bike handlebars that's just got a slight twist to it which works better on the wrists. And I've got another loading pin here that I've just made in case I wanted to have two loading pins. But yeah, that's really good. Got some of these fast grip collars. Much prefer these to the sprung collars. They grip really strongly on the bar and don't stick out too far. And they also fit the thick bars really tightly as well, whereas the spring collars move around slightly on these. Next we've got the resistance bands. I'm really starting to feel the benefits of these now, especially as I'm getting a bit older, and the merits of stretching out. And actually, of all the resistance bands, it's these really lightweight yellow ones that I find the best to work with, because you can just double them up. They're easy to put in your pocket. They're only rated, I think, at around £15, something like that. But yeah, I've recently found a good store where I can get a lot of these quite cheaply. So I've got two of each one of these now, going up to various different strengths. The red one is the one from Decathlon, so it's quite strong. I'm not sure on the exact strength of that one, but that one's really good, and I do use that quite a lot. I've also got some of these power grip ones, which are more of a fabric type material, so they've got slightly different stretch characteristic. I quite like these very small ones. They're good for just wrapping around the legs and getting stretches. I think footballers use them quite a lot as well. So a big shout out to Power Grip there, as a friend of mine actually is part of that company. So moving on to lifting equipment, got some proper lifting shoes with an elevated heel. Found they've been quite useful for doing squats, etc., front squats, Olympic style lifts. I did try to do some Olympic training for a while, may get into that in a future date. Got some knee supports there from Strength Shop. They're really good. I remember buying those years ago when I was into the more strongman type of lifting. Plenty of various chalk there. Also some liquid chalk, because sometimes gyms won't allow chalk. Got a nice lever belt there as well for heavier lifts. My dipping belt. This is serving me really well, and I've had some quite heavy weight on this so far. I found it's fantastic for doing my favourite exercise, which are belt squats. Also I have a neck harness that you could probably adapt to do different exercises as well. And also a pulling harness. I bought this to help me do Zercher squats. It sort of worked, but in the end I just decided to forget that idea. But I may use this in the future to perhaps do some strength and conditioning things like pulling cars, etc. So that's ready and waiting for that in the future. Another interesting item is this, which is the Manta Ray. So this is an attachment that fits onto the bar to enable you to do squats. So it will then support your shoulders people who have pain sometimes holding the bar. See if I can clip that on so you can see it. So there it is, clipped to the bar. It puts you in a more high bar squat position. But for some people, they really swear by these, and it works really well. I remember I had a period of time training with it, and it was good, and takes the stress off having to hold the bar really tightly on your hands as well. Got a few press up and sit up bars there. It's all stuff that's in the collection that's built up over a period of time. So I've got about 120 kilos of Olympic plates, and as well as those I've made some fractional plates. So these are wooden, so then you can get variations between the lightest Olympic plates I have, so you can micro load the lifts. On that theme for the dumbbells as well, I've got some half kilos. So I found even on one side of a dumbbell you can put that on, and it's great because you can just gradually build up on heavy lifts that you're struggling with. Also have these bumper plates. These are fantastic. You can just leave them outside, they just don't rust or anything, and they're great just for doing more technical lifts or lifts where you're going to drop or deadlifts, etc. I've recently got into landmine training, which is propping a bar up against a corner. So this little tennis ball is my new friend for that, and I found a lot of exercises now that I can do with that. Got some DIY technique plates there I've made that are the same size as a 45 plate, and various blocks of wood to help set up different exercises on the power rack. I've also mounted this DIY frame just to do dips with. That's really useful. Stops the bars from moving from side to side on the rack. Got this nice adjustable gripper that will go up to 30 kilograms of strength. I find these are really good and much better than some of the cheap ones you see in the shops. And the final piece of the puzzle is my old leg extension and leg curl, which I've modified so I can get in and out of the shed easily and pack it away. Also has a beaten up old preacher curl attachment that I could use, but I rarely do. So there you go then, there's an overview of the home gym. Certainly got a fair bit of versatility to it. There's a lot of different options for me to do. I can pretty much do most exercises I want, or if there's something I still want to try and do, I can always go down the DIY route and make it happen. If I was to start again, perhaps I might consider, instead of buying iron plates, going for more the bumper plates. I just find they've got a lot more versatility to them, and a lot more harder wearing just for leaving outside and things like that. But overall, yeah, adjustable dumbbells I think are also an essential. You can do a lot with those, and of course a decent bench and a rack is essential if you're going to lift heavy, or especially training on your own as well. But yeah, hope it might inspire you with some of your home gym setups, and tell me what kit you've got. Be interested. Until the next time, keep training. 45.